welcome to Community Talk. I'm Julie Nelson, the Community Relations Director for Hospice Circle of Love. We are a not-for-profit organization that cares for terminally ill patients in their home or nursing home. We also support the family during this process. We want the patients to make every day count. And today we are here to tell you about an event we have coming up on December 10th at 3 o'clock out at the Gantt Center to remember all of our patients who have passed away in the last year. We also invite members of the community to add their loved ones' names to this event. And with me today, I have one of our volunteers, Rolf Carlston, and he's going to help me tell you about it. Rolf, you've been involved with this event for 11 years now, haven't you?
Yes, correct. Yes, I have.
What does it mean to you to be a part of that?
It's hard. It's the Christmas season, and so
Right.
it's normally we think of the joy of the season and the festivities.
Right.
But it's a nice way to recognize the lives of the people who have been a patient or a recipient of hospice services by putting the ornaments on the trees. They're gaily lighted, having a ceremony and follow up with refreshments and just generally visiting and oftentimes meeting other members of the family that you didn't meet when you were taking care. I'm a patient volunteer, so that's the job I have. And occasionally someone will bring up another family member to introduce them. And it's a very, very pleasant way to recognize people.
Yeah, I think it is nice that it gives the caregivers like yourself and the nurses and the nurse aides, the social worker, the chaplain, all of those people a chance to reconnect with those family members. And it's nice for those family members to get to see those people again that had been coming into their home.
And family, people who have received hospice services in prior years will come back occasionally for this service and this event, and you'll get to see them again and get caught up on what's going on in their lives. So yeah, it's very nice.
Yes, and you mentioned the Christmas trees. We'll have 3 Christmas trees, and everyone's name will be on an ornament, on a tag, on one of those trees. And all of our patients that have passed away in the last year will automatically be on there at no charge to the family. And then anyone else, like you mentioned, maybe past families or anyone in the community is welcome to participate with a $25 tax-deductible donation. And let's talk a little bit about some of the things we do at the ceremony. Of course, you always help us with reading the names.
Yes, that's what I do. There's the chaplain, or either our chaplain or a visiting chaplain delivers not a sermon, but
I call it a spiritual message.
Yeah, that's true, because we have music, usually. That's usually local musicians. Sometimes it's just instrumental. This year
we'll have Liz Fossmeyer is going to sing a couple of songs for us.
And we have refreshments. That's always welcome. I enjoy them myself, and as you can see.
Well, and we always appreciate the volunteers. They make the cookies, so you know they're good. They're from scratch.
That's true. Yeah, the cookies are homemade, and the punch is a specialty of the Hospice Circle of Love.
Yes, we call it the Hospice Punch.
There you go.
And our volunteer Jovita Lang always helps us with that reception. We really appreciate her and all the volunteers. We really couldn't put it on without them.
Yeah, the trees, setting the tree up is the most interesting part of it. There are 3 trees, 3 different sizes, 3 ages, and we have had to rig them and jerry-rig them and everything to keep the lights going.
Yes.
But by the time it's time to turn the lights on, voila, all the trees light up and the ceremony begins.
Yes. Well, and we'll have over 500 names normally on the tree, so that's really a lot of ornaments for us to place on the trees as well.
And the people who are there who have family members who are on the tree can pick those ornaments up after that if they want to. They don't have to wait or go someplace else. They can, we'll arrange so that we take things down, we can get them what they need.
And yes, we actually encourage them to take those home with them, and we will put them on the trees alphabetically so it's easier to find them, and we've got staff members that'll help them look. And we do also offer duplicate ornaments. that people can purchase for $10 with the same name, and that way if they want all their children to have one of the ornaments with, say, grandpa's name on it, then everyone can have one. And they can pick those up at that time as well.
Yeah.
And of course, if they can't come to the event, they can always come by the office and pick their ornaments up if they would like to have them.
Right.
And we'll have those there through January, normally. So let's talk a little bit about what the Tree of Life does in addition to that camaraderie and that coming together and the memorial celebration. I think that's the most important part of it, but it also brings in some extra funds to help us care for our patients that don't have a Medicare benefit for through Medicare, or a hospice benefit through Medicare or insurance.
Yeah, that is very important, because Hospice Circle of Love provides care regardless of ability to pay. The patient isn't billed, the family isn't billed. If they have insurance, we'll go ahead and make a claim on the insurance, but if they don't, they still get the same level of care as they would if they were insured or paying.
That's
and
right.
I think that's really important at that time.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yes.
A very powerful feature, and one of the attractions drew me to want to volunteer for Hospice Circle of Love.
Yes.
For that very reason. So.
And you really think about all the support that hospice gives the family. I wish more people could understand how much it does help. You know, you've got the nurse coming in and helping with that pain and symptom management and doing teaching with the family, and they're on call 24/7, you know, in case they need them in the middle of the night. You've got the aide coming in doing baths. You've got the social worker helping with any caregiver or financial issues. You've got the chaplain coming and helping with any religious questions a person may have, or they may just want someone to talk to. And of course, the volunteer is also a very important person, especially if that patient is in the home and the caregiver needs some respite. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you help the families as a patient care volunteer?
Yes, respite is a good word for it. The caregivers, that's a very strenuous period in a caregiver's life, and it'd be very tempting for them not to take a break when they need it. But a patient volunteer is available. They don't have to make any special arrangements. They just let us know. They can either schedule our visits on a regular basis, like once a week, twice a week, or whatever, or they can call. I've had families go both ways, but it lets the caregiver have time free to rest, go out, meet with friends, shop, go to the doctor, go to the store, do anything they want. I've had some caregivers that thought that they had to have something like medical related, like they had to have a doctor's appointment before they could ask me to come. No, whatever you want to do, you do. It's your time. And the volunteer stays there with the patient and is available in the event of if there should be an emergency or anything like that. But it's usually pretty uneventful.
Yes.
It is. It's a nice time to visit with the patient. And as I've pointed out in the classes, this is one of the times the patient has a new person to listen.
Yes.
And very often they have wonderful stories to tell.
Yes.
Exciting, interesting, and unique stories to tell about their life. And here's this person who's just ready and willing and able.
Right. And I know sometimes you've read to patients or watched Westerns with them, some different things,
Yep.
kind of whatever their interests are, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, the Westerns was a lot of fun. He had a collection of the old Gunsmoke and several of the really hit TV shows, and he would have it all keyed up when I got there. And as soon as I got there, he'd always invite me to have some buttermilk and what was the
Cornbread.
Cornbread and buttermilk. Now, I don't mind cornbread, but buttermilk is not my favorite, so I always had to finesse that.
Yes.
Once we got over that hurdle, why, we went and turned on the movie, and he would interrupt the movie, ask me questions about it. He had a certain philosophical tendency, and he liked to pause, and he'd say, do you really think that this person should be treated like this? In other words, they may have found the prisoner, or found the criminal or the evildoer, and he'll pause it and try to get you to discuss what the person did and what they deserve and all of that, which is kind of unusual. That's the
Yes.
only patient I've ever had, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And reading poetry. I've had patients ask me to read poetry to them. They usually have their favorites. One patient liked me to read Newsweek, and he was blind, and so he couldn't read it, and so it was perfect opportunity for me to come in, and that was pretty much what I did, was read the stories, and we'd talk about them. There are unique occupations. I think that's what I'm always intrigued by, is the occupations, everything that people who install these home, I don't know why I always remember this, but this gentleman installed built-in vacuum cleaner systems. And he did it in old homes.
Oh.
This wasn't in new construction.
Okay.
So you can imagine the surprises and the challenges that he met, and he remembered them and related them with relish. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I'll make a pitch for volunteer.
Yes, and we're always looking for great volunteers.
Yeah, because the people come up to me well, they don't come up to me, I go up to them, but I usually say, you ought to think about volunteering at hospice, and I hear this so much. They'll say, I wouldn't know what to do. And I always say, you don't have to do anything.
Right.
Because all you have to do is sit there. The patient will take care of the rest. And it's always a meaningful exchange between both. And sometimes the patient just sleeps and wants to sleep. Other times the patient's quite animated. I've had patients that like to get up and go outside and sit on the porch, watch television, read. And it's just, the volunteer is really a very passive, just to be supportive of the family and the patient and let them have a chance to share their life with you. Yeah, it's really quite an experience.
Yes. And then, of course, we have volunteers that'll go visit some of our patients in the nursing home as well, and that provides some companionship for someone who may not get a lot of visitors sometimes.
That's true.
So that's very nice. And it's an extra person to check up on them and that kind of thing as well. So, and then, of course, our volunteers help with our events like our Tree of Life. And so
we do. Let's see, what are we addressing? Envelopes?
Yes.
We're
going to be
stickers on them.
organizing or putting our ornaments together soon for Tree of Life.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's always fun. Help out in the office. Some of our volunteers do that.
Answering the phones?
Yes.
I don't do that. I haven't done that, but
Yes.
But it is done.
Yes. So there are many ways that a volunteer can help. And so going back to Tree of Life, I just want to reiterate the information about that. That's going to be on December 10th at 3 o'clock out at the Gant Center, and anyone is welcome to attend. And if you'd like to participate in purchasing an ornament, you can come by our office at 314 South 3rd or give us a call at 234-CARE. And we'd love to have you participate. Thank you for watching.
With Autry Technology Center, Coordinator for Business and Industry Services. If you're interested in a class, flip through our catalog and see if we have anything to offer. Otherwise, we can do customized training as well. Feel free to contact us at Autry Technology Center and ask for Ashley Gore. Watch for us on Community Talk.
Welcome to Community Talk. My name is Brandon Gilson. I'm here with Barbara Sweat today. We've got a opportunity coming up to help children in need during the holidays, and Barbara's going to spend a little time talking to us about it.
We have Project Santa coming up in our schools, and what that is that our school-based counselors identify children that they work with who they feel have a need for us or somebody to step in and kind of help with Christmas. So what we do is we gather those names and we ask the children to fill out a wish list of things that they might like to have for Christmas. And then we take those lists into our office and distribute them back out to groups and individuals in the community. We try to help about 250 children in the community each year with that. In the past, we've had help from churches, from training squadrons at Vance Air Force Base. Individuals step in and help. We also accept donations, cash donations during that time to help us in case there's in case a wish list doesn't get filled, we can kind of fill in some of those gaps.
Because it's a lot of shopping.
It is a lot of shopping. And we also, on December 11th and 12th, are going to have volunteers, ask for volunteers to come into our building and help us wrap all those gifts, because when the gifts arrive, they are unwrapped. So
So it's not just monetary help. We need help on all sides.
we need help on all sides. We need people who are interested in being Santa's helpers, so they would take a child's name or multiple children's names and buy some gifts and bring those to our office. And then on the 11th and 12th, help us with wrapping them.
Say somebody's interested. Say somebody wants to get out and help. What's the first step? How can you get in touch with us to?
They would need to call me at 233-7223 and talk with me, or they can email me at B as in boy, S as in Sam, WEATT@yfsenid.org, and we can touch base that way. I actually send the names out by email, so that's a good way to initiate contact.
So if you're going in, say you get a list,
Right.
How would you go about? What kind of presents? How about transporting them? How they come packaged? What are the basics to bringing them to YFS? Is there any kind of special instructions they need?
We
before?
ask that people bring the gifts to us no later than December 11th,
Okay.
and that they come to us unwrapped. We need to have a look at everything before we wrap it up, and then we tag it and get it to our counselors, and they distribute it out through the schools on December 15th.
Oh, that's awesome. And what was the date you said for helping with wrapping?
Wrapping will be December 11th and 12th.
Right. So if there's anyone out there who's good at that, it would be very much appreciated.
Yes.
And you said how many kids was this reaching? 250?
We're hoping to reach as many as 250 children.
So there's going to be plenty of stuff to wrap.
There's
So
plenty to wrap.
More the merrier.
We have children who still need to have their wish list passed out to folks in the community, so we still need that. Really, there are just a lot of ways that people could help, and if we haven't identified one of those ways today, they certainly can call our office and we can talk with them about ways that they could help.
And we do need plenty of help. I was a part of the Project Santa last year, and we had an entire conference room filled to the brim where you couldn't walk with gifts. The community really stepped up, and I feel like it was a huge success last year. And if the community does what they did last year, we're looking at being able to help a lot of kiddos out.
Which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
It's really
something
awesome.
that's really needed in this community and just about everywhere across the board right now. Is there any other information about the Project Santa that you think people need to have?
Well, I would like to say also that if bringing gifts to YFS is an issue for anybody because of our office hours or anything like that, we will have vans available that can come and pick gifts up if that's what we need to do. So we're trying to be pretty flexible about how we get this to happen.
And we don't have like an 8 to 5 time on that. If we can work around and pick up gifts when it's
whenever is convenient.
If you're willing to help, we're willing to
work with you.
the extra mile to get your help.
Exactly.
So is that all for the?
I think so. Our counselors are supposed to turn in all of the requests by Friday, so we should have the list finalized of children who need help by Monday. There may be a few extras who come in, and so we may even need some last-minute shoppers. We may need some folks who are willing to take a child's name kind of at the last minute and help us get that filled, and
Yeah, we needed help up until the day of, from what I remember last year.
Exactly.
We were all running ragged. It was a busy, fun. It was a lot of fun.
This is Santa's busiest time of year.
We were running around like Santa and his elves, I'll tell you that. Well, another side note we'd like to talk about today is we have a couple of openings in our transitional living program, which I've talked about several times on Community Talk before. It's for 18 to 22-year-olds who are either homeless or kind of floating around from couch to couch and maybe in unhealthy environments, places where they're not getting any kind of skills, they're not learning how to go out in the job force and save some money. We have a couple of spots open. We're taking in interviews right now. If you're in that situation and you need some help, maybe getting your life together, a place to stay, job skills, saving money, programs there, and come on in and see us. My name's Brandon Gilson. Joanna Motes is our director of that program. You can speak with either one of us. Barbara's been working in the program recently, and she can also take calls. If you call us at 233-7220, or you can email me at bgilson, Gilson, at yfs.enid.org. And thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Matt Lohman, CEO of Hope Outreach Ministries, where our mission statement is sharing the love of Jesus Christ to the felt needs of our community for the purpose of empowering people towards responsible living. Where we have our parenting ministry, our homeless ministry, our community care ministry, our transitional housing ministry, and our thrift store ministry, which helps everyone in our community who is in need. Please look for us on Community Talk. We're looking forward to telling you more about each of those ministries.
Welcome to Community Talk. My name is Dimple Sandu Johnson. I'm a community volunteer. I'm here today with Tammy Wilson, Commissioner of Ward 5. We're here to talk about Enid and diversity. I'm just going to give you a bit of a background about myself. I'm a community volunteer. I volunteered with the Community Cultural Celebration in October to organize it. It was a great success. It was an event that we had to create awareness of the diversity that exists in Enid, all the different cultures. We had about 1,000 people attend, which was great for a first-time event. It was outdoors at Government Springs Park. And the communities that contributed included the Mexican community, the Peruvian, the Marshallese, the Korean, the Comanche Nation, the Indian community, the LGBTQ, and the Egyptian. We had a number of food booths, activity booths, as well as presentations from them. And going forward, we'd like to keep this ball rolling and work with the community of Enid to further embrace diversity, so to have these cultures participate in the different events and to create a more of a multicultural scene or environment in Enid, Oklahoma. So I'm here with Tammy, and one of the questions I have for you today is, what is Enid doing currently in terms of embracing diversity, and why is it important to embrace diversity?
Well, I think that it's important because, obviously every human being matters. And I think to have a community that truly flourishes and is progressive, you have to embrace every single aspect of it. And everybody deserves to have a seat at the table. And so, to me, in my heart, it's just the right thing to do. So to me, it seems just like the natural thing. The things that are currently happening in Enid, we have Pride Day every year. We have the Native American Week that we've had for quite a long time. We have a huge Martin Luther King Day celebration. I know there's a big Juneteenth celebration. So there's different groups that are having celebrations amongst themselves, and then the public is always invited to those things. And then when you guys had the cultural celebration, I thought that was a huge step, embracing all of the different things about Enid together. I think that was a great way to open the door to that, to show that we need to do that more. And obviously, it was very well received because there were tons and tons of people there. It was amazing turnout. So I think that it's something our community wants, for sure.
And what do you think Enid or the people of Enid can do to learn more about the different cultures that are here, to be a bit more of an inclusive community?
Well, I think it really kind of boils down to just stepping outside your comfort zone. I think that people don't realize what a diverse community we have, and all of the different ethnicities and different religions and different kind of backgrounds that people in Enid have, because it's primarily a very conservative area of the country. It's, we have a predominantly probably white community, predominantly Christian community. And so I think that, different ethnicities a lot of times get, I don't think it's on purpose. I think they just don't think about it very much because it's not something they've been dealt with a whole lot. So it's exciting to me. It was exciting to me to see all the different ones that were represented at the cultural fair. And so I think that people need to step outside their box a little bit, step outside their comfort zone a little bit, and go to these celebrations when they're held by these different groups. Go to Juneteenth, go to Martin Luther King Day, go to Pride Day, go to see the Islanders choir because it's amazing. Go to Native American Week. Go, besides just going to buy Indian tacos on the courthouse lawn, talk to people, find out what their clubs do, and those kind of things, and educate yourself about it.
Yeah, I've been here for about a year now, and I didn't realize that there was such a huge Micronesian Marshallese community here, and they were integral to our event. They had their food that they presented, they had their island dances, and they're wonderful people. However, I find that whenever there's an event in town, you don't really see many people who are Marshallese or Hispanic or African American, yet they all exist and they all live in this community. One of the things that we were thinking of doing was, I've been talking to Kelly at Main Street Enid, is inviting some of the artists from the different communities to participate in First Friday next year, to showcase their work. And we're hoping that if we invite the artists to participate, we may have more people from the different cultures attend First Fridays.
And I think that's a great idea. And you're right. We do have, and you know, and a lot of those groups are doing things within their own groups, but I don't know. But what I loved about the cultural celebration was it seemed to kind of be more. I don't know the word to say. Not include. I mean, it was very everything. I mean, all of these events are inclusive. I don't think that anybody would ever turn anybody away from coming to any of the events. It just seems to, everybody just kind of seems to stick to themselves a lot, and that goes for anything, and that goes for Methodists and Catholics and whoever, I mean, you know, or the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts or whatever organization you're part of. Everybody kind of tends to stick to their own group of, you know, whatever, you know, organization is doing the event. So I would really hope that people would kind of make it more of an effort to attend some of these things and make more of an effort to invite people to different things that you know are happening. And I love the art idea. I think that would be amazing, and maybe that's even something the Public Arts Commission could get involved in somehow. I don't know. I think that would maybe be some kind of maybe we could talk about doing a temporary art piece or something. I think would be neat. Another thing that we talked about was, you know, I do the food truck festival every year, and we usually have about 2,000 or 2,500 people come through. We've done it 3 years in a row now, and it's been a pretty big success. But one of the interesting things that we noticed the very first year was that, like you said, you have these different events, and you don't always see a very good mix of people at them. But the first year at the food truck festival, what we did notice was that there was a huge mix of people, and it was one of the first events like that where we had people from all ethnicities, all walks of life, all economic statuses. We had people from just every group of humans showed up at the food truck festival, because we were thinking, you know, that's something that brings people together is food. Everybody likes food.
Everybody loves food.
And everybody eats. So it was really a cool thing to walk around and watch that happening, because it was a rare thing in Enid. Having grown up here, you don't see that a lot. So that was really exciting. And so, I know one of the things we kind of talked about in preparing for this was we talked about maybe doing an international food festival where that's the whole focus, is just all these different booths of international food. And we had some of that at the cultural celebration, but that was such a wider spread celebration. I mean, it had so many things going on, but I think it would be really neat to do one focused on the food.
On food. And I think we were talking about combining it with fashion too, maybe having a fashion show / food festival, so people can, you know, see the different cultures.
And that was one of the things I loved about the celebration, was getting to see all the different clothing.
The clothing?
I loved that part. That was fun.
Of the Mexican dancers.
And all of it, just all of it. It was all so different, and it was fascinating to me to get to watch all of that.
Okay. The only other question I have is city council or the city leaders, what are they doing to embrace diversity in terms of, you know, in their committees, in their workplaces? Because is it fairly integrated? You know, is everyone always welcome? Is there good representation of the different cultures?
Well, I think that our city council is fairly, or city council wise is integrated for sure. We have all different kinds of ethnicities and genders and walks of life on the council right now, and I think that's a good thing. As far as what the city is doing to embrace diversity, I think that a big step was the cultural celebration. I think that was a big step to show that as a city, this is important to us. And so I hope that will continue, and I hope that it will grow, and I definitely want to be part of helping that grow, because I thought that was so exciting to see that. And I mean, I know that there are some of us that just keep pushing every day for these kind of things, for things to be fair and things to be right. And sometimes it's not always easy, but I know that there are some of us that have the heart to keep doing it that way.
Yeah, there's some amazing, wonderful people here that have really supported the community cultural celebration. We're putting together a health fair for the different communities. There's a lot of support from the Free Clinic, Janet Cordell, and then talking to you, support with the food festival. That was a great idea. That'll be fun to put together. We'd love to invite, all the different communities to come out and, showcase their food, right? And invite everybody out to taste it all. It'll be different from the community cultural celebration, but I do know that they're doing a community cultural celebration again in October. We don't have a date yet. We don't have a venue yet. It might be in the same park. And yeah, I just wanted to talk to you and learn more about, Enid's environment and what's being done to embrace diversity, because I know there's a lot of people that come through with the Air Force, and so you get a lot of different people from different cultures and different religions that live in Enid for about 3 years of their life. And everyone that comes here, it'd be great to have Enid as a warm, welcoming place. It already is, but that was a little bit more culturally integrated, especially for some of the people that come from some of the larger cities.
Yeah, and Enid is pretty isolated as far as just by geography. We're very kind of isolated from a lot of other big cities, and so I think that having the Air Force come through, and when we had Phillips University, which is now Northern Oklahoma College, we had a lot of students that came from other countries. We had a huge Japanese population and Swedish population that came to Phillips University. We had several Middle Eastern folks that came over to go to Phillips University, and so we had quite a few different ethnicities in town when Phillips was here, for sure. And I think that having a higher education system like that and having the Air Force Base here, I think that helps expose people to a lot of things that they wouldn't normally get exposed to. Because if people don't really leave here often or get outside, what's going on in their general area, they don't really get exposed to it. And if you go to bigger cities, it's completely different than here. It just is. I mean, and that's a lot just to do with geography and, and where we are in the world. But so I think those are great beneficial things to have here, is to have the schools and the Air Force Base, because it does expose people to things that they wouldn't otherwise be exposed to. And
I feel in being here in the year that there is a great momentum towards people wanting to embrace diversity.
I think so too.
Because of the turnout that we had for our event, it wouldn't have been that great if people weren't open to it.
Right.
And I think with all the events that we're thinking of planning going forward, that we can really bring about that change.
I think so too.
And create hopefully a more integrated Enid community, because all these beautiful cultures exist, and it'd be beautiful to see them all working together, coming out together, and just enjoying Enid.
I agree. Yeah. Absolutely.
So thank you very much for coming out today and having this conversation with me. Sure. I truly appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we'll probably work with you soon.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tricia Mitchell, Executive Director with the For Our Kids Foundation, whose mission is to provide support to children and adults with disabilities. Please look for us on Community Talk.